Alright, welcome back everyone. Welcome to another video of the legendary Russian 1900s campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. And we are back to the little engagement that we have here. Our battlecruiser squadron has found an enemy task force.
Alright, well, I would love to tell you that I recorded the audio for the rest of this video, but my mic turned off. So this is future BroSilly, and I'm also a little sick, just to add the cherry on top. I was a little skeptical about this fight because it's, well, you know, it's a couple of battle cruisers, which are some of my most valuable ships right now, versus a lot of screens and smaller ships, which could easily get off torpedoes in my direction. And I did not have any confidence in my light cruisers at all, so it was a little bit nerve-wracking, this fight. The fight started off pretty okay, with pretty clear visibility, though the destroyers and torpedo boats were very quick to close in. So I started turning everybody away. I got a good couple hits on some of them. And as far as I knew, no torpedoes had been fired yet. I do have to say this balance mod definitely makes things a lot more interesting. Oh, and there's the first torpedo fired. But I do really enjoy the fact that a single hit could take out an entire ship. Oh yeah, and then the weather changes just pretty suddenly. And suddenly I can't see anything anymore. Which is really unfortunate for me. Because now I don't know where the torpedoes are in the water. So with visibility pretty much reduced to zero, I have almost all of my ships in a full retreat, just trying not to get torpedoed. And now that all of my ship's accuracy are pretty much under 1%, it's a choice of whether I want to retreat or if I want to push in and take the risk of getting torpedoed. Of course, my light cruisers proved to be absolutely useless, and their only job is really just drawing torpedo fire. All of my ships have been pretty much reduced to very slow speeds, leaving at least my battle cruisers work. My light cruisers, for some reason, can still go full speed. I do have to admit, the thunder effects in this game are pretty cool, but I wish they would have spent their time designing something else, like, I don't know, better AI. Here I have a little hardtack as torpedoes are launched at my very frontmost light cruiser, who's pretty much right in front of my battlecruiser line. So I turn everybody away, which turns out to be a very, very good idea as a second set of torpedoes are spotted. I decide smoking up the light cruisers isn't very necessary considering nobody can hit anything anyways. Also coming to the conclusion that those single-barreled 6-inch guns are not as great as they could have been. Take a couple of photos here just for the thumbnail. Some more screens go down. At this point, I'm pretty much just start telling my light cruisers to target the other light cruisers. Not that I think they'll be able to hit anything, but to at least torpedo if they get within range. Battlecruisers are still trying to snipe the battleship, which they're kind of successfully doing. One of my light cruisers takes a pretty decent hit, so I detach him from the division, smoke him up, and send him home. The big loss of speed because of the big waves is not great, because I remember at this point that my battlecruisers have picric acid, so any hits will be a very bad hit. Now luckily it seems to be doing very well against their light cruisers. Take down a CL. And immediately on to the next. A lot of really good hits on another CL, and it goes down. And the last couple of light cruisers are also getting taken down. However, a couple of gifts were sent in the way of my light cruiser squadron, but I was luckily able to steer them out of the way, as the rest of the enemy light cruisers get taken out. At this point, I'm trying to get my light cruisers into torpedo range of the battleship, because I don't think anything can really get hit. Something else I've realized is that the gun ranges are also affected by the stormy weather, which makes it very hard to see what my gun range is. The light cruisers now are mostly serving as a distraction, so the battleship doesn't shoot at the battle cruisers, which you could easily take out if it hits any of my guns. Some really good hits from the battle cruiser. Some more screens show up, but the battleship goes down. And I decide, since the weather is not the greatest, maybe it's time to head home. I take their battleship, all of their light cruisers, a couple destroyers, and all of their torpedo boats. Without losing a single ship, so pretty good trade-off. Another 12,000 victory points. We failed to gain Croatia, which is upsetting, to say the least, but whatever. We do have some invasions, land invasions that are going through. My heavy cruiser found one of their battleships protecting some transports. And I thought I would take on that fight, and at least take out the transports, and then maybe fall back. Though I noticed that the battleship only has 9.1-inch guns, and I thought, maybe with my new refit 11-inch Mark III guns, I could take this battleship out. Couple of pictures, and then we're off. Weather's not amazing, and I get spotted immediately. By what, I do not know. Try and get a couple more screenshots of my little heavy cruiser, potentially for another thumbnail. I see a transport and immediately get a huge hit on it in the first salvo. These transports are not armed with anything. And as you can guess, it's pretty much just transport slaughter for a little bit. Which is always a fun thing to watch. As soon as I sink the first, I sink the second, and get a really good hit on it. A couple really good hits on it. It starts flooding out, though it stabilizes its flooding right before it sinks. It sinks right as I spot the last transport, which immediately takes a big hit. And another big hit. And it's only a matter of time before I get one last big hit on this transport. And there it is, a huge hit. The ship eventually does sink, though for a second it looks like it's not going to sink, but then I get another flooding hit, a huge penetration and goes down. I decided instead of ending the battle, I would chase after this battleship and see if I couldn't do some damage, and if not, I would just end the battle. I decided that if by 2:30, if I had not found it, I would retreat. Took a couple more pictures at the very least for some potential thumbnails, and then I spot the battleship right as 2:30 passes. And considering I can fire at it and it is not firing at me, and I look at it closer, I see that it has really short-barreled 9-inch guns. I zoom in to get a really cinematic shot of it, and then it immediately takes a big hit. Big hit slows it down a lot, and I immediately start catching up even faster, raising my accuracy even more, but eventually letting it fire back at me. Not a very big percent chance to hit, but it has even less and starts target locking, which I find quite amusing. Because I was going to try and start avoiding its shell fire, but now that it has literally a 0.1% chance to hit me, I'm not really concerned anymore. The chase does go on for a little bit, but the battleship can definitely not outrun my heavy cruiser. As the battleship's top speed is 18.5 and it's already been flooded about halfway, and my heavy cruiser hasn't been touched once and has a top speed of 20.5 knots. Couple more big hits and a flooding hit, slowing down the battleship even more. And I start trying to go broadside, because if I get both of my 11-inch guns to bear, then in theory I should be able to sink this battleship twice as fast. Couple more big hits. That pretty much starts the end of the battleship. While I am broadside now, the battleship is continually getting further away from me, so I decide it's probably time to start going back toward it. We destroy a funnel. Now the ship is going practically just standing still in the water. Destroy the funnel again. I'm pretty sure it's just the same funnel. Considering the fact the ship only has 2 funnels, I'm pretty sure I just destroyed the already destroyed funnel again. But then I get a pretty decent hit on it. There's a flooding hit. I start getting a little worried about the battleship's accuracy because it does bracken me here. And at this point I'm convinced I'm just going to take it out from structural integrity. And the battleship cannot contain the flooding and finally sinks. Making this the first time I've ever sunk a battleship in a heavy cruiser. Though in the AI's defense, they did design a really poor battleship. At this point, I'm thinking about designing a new light cruiser and a new destroyer and a new heavy cruiser, honestly. A lot of my ships are too old for the year that they are right now. Though they're doing just fine against the Austro-Hungarian fleets, for sure. I do see that I'm building a lot of new light cruisers, so I decide that destroyers and a new heavy cruiser design are next. Austro-Hungary luckily does not go to peace with me, and there's a little battle with a ship that I know is going to run away from my fleet, so I decide to try and withdraw. When that doesn't work, I just decide to auto-resolve it. Because it's gonna be a ghost battle if I try and actually take it. Auto-resolve gives me a little bit of victory points, it's whatever. I get a new destroyer hull, which is definitely what convinces me that it's time to get a new destroyer. I got new secondary guns that are going to be researched soon. I decide maybe building out my shipyard a little bit could be nice. And on to the next turn. Austro-Hungary again attempts to surrender. I get 4-inch Mark III guns. I decided to send some ships after the 5 destroyers, because I'm mostly convinced that we are going to be going to peace, and I attempt another naval invasion. With Austro-Hungary blockaded and down nearly 10 times the victory points, I'm pretty sure the war's going to be over soon at this point. However, to my surprise, it is not, and they send a huge fleet out to meet my fleet. I decide that this is a really big battle, and that I will be taking this in the next episode. And so, that's about it. Thank you everyone for sticking around and watching this episode. Sorry if my voice sounds a little weird, I've been sick. I'm also on vacation, so this is a little bit of a tough situation. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.